so let's talk a little bit more about those judgments, right, of these WH dependencies, and which ones are far worse than other ones. Again, this is our behavioral outcome that is the target of development, these adult judgments that are coming in this case from high SES individuals. And the specifics are that it's acceptability judgments. How acceptable do you find this dependency? And so this data comes from Sprouse and colleagues 2012 using magnitude estimation judgments. And they set up a factorial definition that controlled for two salient properties of dependencies that cross islands. And one is the length of the dependency, right? Is it a matrix dependency or is it an embedded dependency where the gap is? And there's some sort of, say, tensed embedded clause, right, that gap is inside. And then there's the presence of an island structure versus not. Whether or not the dependency crosses, is it in the utterance or not? You can just have a structure that's not an island structure. You can have a structure that's an island structure. These are sort of two separate pieces, right, of island crossing dependencies that were separated out in this study. And so just to show you what this looks like, so let's consider complex NP islands. Who claimed that Lily forgot the necklace? So we have a matrix dependency, right? Who is the subject here. And then this, that Lily forgot the necklace, is a non-island structure, and that's present. Now you can also turn this into an embedded dependency. What did the teacher claim that Lily forgot, right? And so the gap is down here inside the embedded dependency. It's longer, but you still have a non-island structure. You can go back to having a matrix dependency, who made, but then this structure right here is the purported island structure for complex NPs because it's a complex noun phrase. The claim that Lily forgot the necklace, so who made the claim that Lily forgot the necklace? And then you can go and turn that into an embedded dependency. What did the teacher make the claim that Lily forgot? This is the one that we generally don't like. This one would cross the island structure in addition to being an embedded dependency, in addition to just having an island structure in the utterance, right? Now, interestingly, it turns out that 4-year-olds across SES actually really don't like these either. They strongly disprefer WH dependencies with this structure as well, so it seems like they also have this knowledge, which is nice. We'll come back to that later. But you can do this for all of those island types I actually walked you through earlier. So you can do this for subject island stimuli, where the island crossing dependency is this one. Who does Jack think the necklace for, and that's your subject, is expensive in your subject island. And you can do it for weather island stimuli, right, where the island crossing dependency is this one. What does the teacher wonder whether Jack stole, right, where that's your island structure. And you can do it for adjunct islands, right, where the island crossing one is what does the teacher worry if Lily forgot, right? Same matrix versus embedded, non-island versus island, but the last one also happens to cross, right, the purported island structure. So then how is it that we are, what are we looking for then? So here, the knowledge about syntactic islands, the knowledge that something is extra bad about those ones that purportedly cross the syntactic island structure, what we're looking for is what's called a superadditive interaction of these two factors. That is the additional badness, the additional unacceptability that arises when the two factors, that is the length of the dependency, matrix versus embedded, and the presence or absence of an island structure in the utterance, when you combine those, right, you get some addition. They're both kind of bad. If you have an embedded one, we'll see. If you have an island structure present, but we're looking for additional badness, additional unacceptability that comes above and beyond the independent contribution of each factor. So you add this one, that's a certain amount of badness. Is there extra badness purportedly because it's crossing a syntactic island structure? That's what we're looking for. So if you plot this on an interaction plot, these are the sorts of plots we'll be looking at. And this is what you're looking for. So you have on the x-axis the length of the dependency matrix versus embedded. And you have on the y-axis, in this case, a non-island structure in the utterance versus an island structure in the utterance. And just to kind of walk you through what we see. So we start with this one. If you have a matrix dependency with a non-island structure, you like it a certain amount, right? Whatever that amount is, that's how acceptable you find it. If you turn that into an embedded dependency, still with a non-island structure, you like it a little less. There is a certain amount of, unacceptability that happens just because it's embedded and you just like those less. We go back to our matrix one with non-island. What if you keep the matrix dependency, but now you just have an island structure later on in the utterance? Well, guess what? You like that a little bit less too, right? There's a certain amount of unacceptability maybe that you just have for that. You're like, well, I just like it less, right? So you have this amount of unacceptability for having an island structure, this amount of unacceptability from like here to, here for having an embedded dependency. And what you're looking for is when you have both of these, when you have an embedded dependency that has an island structure, is it just the addition of those two factors, or is there extra badness where it's extra low, right? And that shows up in this picture visually as non-parallel lines. So the additional unacceptability says, even beyond, above and beyond the fact that it's an embedded dependency, above and beyond the fact that you have an island structure in this utterance, it's extra bad, again, purportedly because it's crossing that island structure. Additional unacceptability. That's what we're looking for. Again, this contrast with if it was just additive, right? Then you would expect parallel lines. It's this bad for making it an island structure in the utterance. It's this bad, right, for making it in an embedded dependency. And, that's it. That's how bad it is when it's an embedded dependency that has an island structure. Nothing addition, right? This says something about crossing that island. It seems bad. This says, no, it isn't. It's just these two factors. So we're looking for this as knowledge of the extra badness that arises from crossing an island. And so this is what they found. This is from 173 adult subjects, and for each of our island types, complex NPs, subject, whether, and adjunct, that's exactly what we see, our non-parallel lines indicating superadditivity for all these 4 island types. And so, again, we're saying, okay, then whatever's going on under the hood, it's that knowledge that dependencies can't cross these island structures, or that crossing them is extra bad. There's a cost to it, and that cost shows up as this extra unacceptability in each case, that super additivity that we find.